What if I told you that The Simpsons predicted the wildfires in Los Angeles, the rise of AI, and even the future of cryptocurrency years before they happened? This seemingly innocent animated sitcom, known for its goofy yellow characters, has been eerily accurate in forecasting real-world events, that some of their most bizarre and outrageous storylines have actually come true. And what if I told you that some of their scariest predictions for 2025 are just waiting to unfold? Sounds crazy, right? But here's the thing, it's happened before, and the more you look into it, the harder it is to ignore. Could The Simpsons really be predicting the future? Are we living inside a script that has already been written, or is there something even more mysterious going on? Buckle up, because today we're diving deep into the most mind-blowing Simpsons predictions for 2025. Some have already started happening, some are right around the corner, and some might just change everything we know about reality itself. Before we begin, if you love unraveling mysteries, conspiracy theories, and the unexplained, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what we uncover next. Now let's get into it. It's only the start of 2025, but the world is already facing one of the worst disasters in recent history. Massive wildfires tearing through Los Angeles, leaving entire neighborhoods in ruins. The destruction is unimaginable. Thick smoke fills the air, turning the sky dark red and black, blocking out the sun. Helicopters hover above, their searchlights cutting through the haze, as exhausted firefighters struggle to control the flames. Families flee in panic, forced to abandon their homes, memories, and dreams, all consumed by the fire. The once lively streets are now empty, covered in ash and devastation. But here's what's truly shocking. This exact disaster was predicted years ago by none other than The Simpsons. In a 2016 episode called Monty Burns' Fleeing Circus, Los Angeles is shown as a burning wasteland, overwhelmed by wildfires. Buildings collapse, terrified people run for their lives, and the entire city is lit by an eerie orange glow. Now in 2025, real aerial footage of LA after the fires looks almost identical to scenes from that episode. The similarity is so chilling that it's hard to believe it's just a coincidence. Was this a random guess? A strange twist of fate, or something even more unsettling? For years, The Simpsons has amazed people with its strange ability to predict the future. From new technology to big political events and even world crises, the show has made many shocking predictions. But if they saw this disaster coming nearly 10 years ago, what else did they predict for 2025? And more importantly, what scary events might still be ahead? For years, The Simpsons has acted like a fortune teller, predicting everything from inventions to major world events. But one of the most surprising predictions came in the year 2000, in an episode called Bart to the Future. In that episode, Lisa Simpson, now an adult, becomes President of the United States. During a meeting, she says something that, at the time, just seemed like a silly joke. "We inherited quite a budget crisis from President Trump." At that time, it was just a joke, something that seemed too ridiculous to ever happen. After all, Donald Trump was just a businessman and reality TV star. No one seriously thought he would ever be in the White House. People laughed and moved on, thinking it was just another wild Simpsons joke. Then, in 2016, something unbelievable happened. Donald Trump became the 45th President of the United States. The world was shocked as the famous businessman took office. Suddenly, that old Simpsons joke didn't seem funny anymore. It felt like a warning. And the strangest part, in the same episode, The Simpsons showed Trump riding down an escalator at a campaign event while waving to a crowd. Years later, this exact moment happened in real life. In 2015, Trump came down an escalator in Trump Tower to announce his run for president. The scene looked so much like the cartoon version that some people joked that the Simpsons creators must have a time machine. Was it just luck? Maybe. But now, in 2025, Trump is back in office, and that makes people wonder, what else did the Simpsons predict about his presidency? One theory suggests that something surprising will happen in 2025. Something that could change history in ways we don't expect. Could this be the year a woman finally becomes president? Just like The Simpsons predicted. Think about it. They've hinted at this more than once. In Back to the Future, Lisa, smart and progressive, takes over after Trump. Could this be a sign of a real change in the world? And then there's another strange prediction. In a different episode, The Simpsons joked about Ivanka Trump running for president in 2028. Back then, it sounded crazy. But in recent years, Ivanka has been rumored to have political ambitions. Could things already be moving in that direction? Could America get its first female president soon? And could it be someone from the Trump family? History often unfolds in surprising ways, and The Simpsons has shown again and again that it might just know what's coming. Is all of this just random, or are we living in a world shaped by a cartoon that started as a comedy show? Only time will tell. Science is full of amazing discoveries, but what if I told you that one of the biggest scientific breakthroughs of the 21st century was predicted, not in a famous lab or research paper, but in a cartoon show? In a 1998 episode of The Simpsons, the main character, Homer Simpson, is seen writing a strange math equation on a blackboard. At first, it looks like just another silly joke, a random mix of numbers and symbols meant to make fun of Homer's cluelessness. After all, this is the same man who once tried to eat a plastic lobster and live inside a giant soap bubble. Surely this equation was nonsense, right? Wrong. Years later, scientists made a surprising discovery. The equation that Homer wrote down was shockingly close. Almost the same as the real formula used to estimate the mass of the Higgs boson, also known as the God particle. For those who don't know, the Higgs boson is one of the most important discoveries in modern physics. It's the particle that gives mass to everything in the universe. Without it, nothing, no planets, no stars, no people would exist the way we know them. Finding this tiny particle took decades, thousands of scientists, and the world's biggest machine, the Large Hadron Collider. Yet somehow, The Simpsons showed this equation 14 years before the Higgs boson was officially discovered in 2012. How is that possible? Was it just an incredible coincidence? A random joke that happened to match real science? Or could there be more to it? Think about this. The Simpsons has a strange habit of predicting the future. The show has correctly guessed things like Disney buying Fox, smartwatches, and even Donald Trump becoming president, sometimes years before they actually happened. Some of the show's writers have backgrounds in math and science, so could they have unknowingly written down ideas that even top scientists hadn't fully figured out yet? If this one prediction was right, what else could be hidden in old episodes, just waiting to be discovered? In 2025, could The Simpsons have already hinted at the next big scientific breakthrough? Could a forgotten episode hold the secret to a future discovery, maybe in physics, medicine, or space exploration? One of the most shocking predictions comes from an episode aired in 1995, one that seemed to foresee a major change in London's skyline nearly 20 years before it became real. It all started in what seemed like a normal episode, just another fun adventure in the long-running series. In one scene, London was shown in the background, with the famous Big Ben standing tall. But something was odd, something most people didn't notice at the time. Next to Big Ben stood a modern glass skyscraper, a tall, futuristic building that didn't exist in 1995. It seemed like just a creative addition by the animators, right? After all, The Simpsons is a cartoon, not a fortune teller. Except 17 years later, that same skyscraper was actually built. It's called the Shard, one of Europe's tallest and most famous buildings, completed in 2012. And here's the strange part. The version drawn in The Simpsons wasn't just a random tower. The design, shape, and location all match almost perfectly with the real-life Shard. Was it just a coincidence? Maybe. But when has The Simpsons ever been just a coincidence? This isn't a small similarity. The sharp, glass-like structure, the way it narrows at the top, even its position near Big Ben, it all lines up in a way that seems almost impossible. The episode showed something that shouldn't have existed yet, but somehow it did. So how did they know? Did someone on the writing team secretly know about future building plans? Unlikely. The Shard wasn't even proposed until 2000, 5 years after the episode aired. Was it just a lucky guess? Maybe. But with The Simpsons making so many correct predictions, that explanation is starting to seem weak. Some people believe The Simpsons isn't just predicting the future, it's creating it. What if, by showing these ideas in pop culture, the show is influencing reality? Architects and city planners might see these fictional scenes and, without realizing it, turn them into real-life projects. In a 2020 episode, The Simpsons showed something strange, a world where cryptocurrency had replaced physical money. At the time, this seemed unrealistic. Bitcoin and other digital currencies were still struggling to be accepted. Governments were unsure about them, worried about financial crime and economic risks. To many people, crypto was just a risky investment, not a real alternative to cash. Now, in 2025, reality is starting to look a lot like fiction. Cryptocurrency is no longer just a small trend. It's becoming a powerful force in the global economy. Big companies are using blockchain technology, banks are exploring digital currencies, and governments that once resisted are now creating new regulations for crypto. It's no longer a question of if digital money will take over, but when. And then there's Donald Trump. Recently, the former president hinted at an ambitious idea, making the US a global leader in cryptocurrency. The details are still unclear, but just the possibility has already made waves in financial and political circles. Could 2025 be the year cash starts disappearing? The show has predicted the future many times. From smartwatches to Disney buying Fox, The Simpsons has an unbelievable track record of getting things right. But this time, the consequences could be even bigger. Which leads to the big question, are we living in a scripted reality? What if these predictions aren't just lucky guesses? Could The Simpsons be more than just a well-written show? Are the writers simply good at spotting trends before they go mainstream, or is something deeper going on? Some believe The Simpsons has access to secret knowledge, dropping hints about the future before the rest of the world realizes. Others think the show isn't just predicting events, it's making them happen. By putting ideas into millions of minds, are these storylines turning into reality? And then there's the wildest theory of all, the simulation theory. What if The Simpsons is a glitch in our simulated world, accidentally revealing future events before they happen? What if we live in a reality where everything is already planned, and the show occasionally leaks what's coming next? We may never know for sure, but one thing is clear, The Simpsons has been right before. And if history has taught us anything, they might already know how this story ends. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay curious, on fire.